Hi guys and welcome to another edition of the General Jerry channel. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Camp WWE. So yeah, by the way, sorry for the low definition camera. It would take me half a day to upload this on a fucking full high definition. Took me ages to upload it. But let's get into the review, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, okay, Camp WWE, I kept my eye on this because this cartoon is actually for adults. It's actually not PG. It's not what I originally thought. I thought it was going to be some cartoon kiddie crap or whatever. It is actually adult. It's an adult cartoon for adults, very similar to what you see with, I wouldn't say South Park, and I'll get to my point in a second. It's not, it's kind of in the realm of like a Family Guy, South Park, that type of thing. By no means is it the same, and I'll get into that in a minute. First of all, I want to say this, is that the humor in it is very forced. Now, I did laugh in two occasions of the show, and that was the Ric Flair part, when Ric Flair was going, woo, 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 basically Ric Flair was with a burr. He was like trying to get it on with a burr and a tire and shit. You probably need to watch it to understand what I'm saying, but the Ric Flair part was hilarious. I thought it was funny. However, for the most part, it was very, very forced and very confusing. The thing is, right, is that Camp WWE, Vince McMahon is the owner of Camp WWE, and what you have is the superstars are children, and the children in this camp, and Vince McMahon is kind of like, he acts like a crazy Vince McMahon or whatever. First of all, the voice acting from Vince McMahon ain't the best. It does seem quite forced, as well as the humor for the show. The humor of the show does feel very forced. There were certain parts where they had Triple H and Stephanie that are not voiced by the original Stephanie and Triple H. It's voiced by other people. They're not very funny. It's kind of like, it's a bit forced and shit. It's not particularly funny. Vince McMahon, sometimes he has the occasional laugh, but for the most part it does seem very forced. There's a part of it where Vince McMahon rides on a giraffe and shit. It's just kind of randomness or whatever. I was expecting them to take advantage of the adult theme where they're gonna curse, swear. Like, they do curse, but they don't, like, it's not like a South Park or a Family Guy when it's in your fucking face. It's more casual, if that makes sense. It's not, I mean, I would even argue that it isn't even an adult cartoon. They did say some things in it, but that was it. The story premise of it is that John Cena, the children version of John Cena, is essentially homesick. Vince McMahon is like, oh, he's gonna destroy the camp and the morale, and Sergeant Slaughter is pretty funny in it, although he doesn't say much. It's like Sergeant Slaughter, shit like that. But anyway, back to the point at hand, the kid Cena, essentially, I don't even get the story, but essentially kid Cena is homesick, he wants to go home, and Vince McMahon wants to change that. They try everything. Stephanie and Triple H try and do something with Cena, and they basically say that their parents are dead to the children in the camp. The child of Undertaker is happy about this while the others are crying and shit. The R-Truth version going, I ain't buying that shit. It was okay, that, but for the most part, then what happens is in the end of the episode, then basically Vince McMahon says he's homesick and shit like that. It's essentially something that you would see on a Saturday night cartoon ending rather than like a what you may say, like an ending of South Park or Family Guy or whatever it may be. It's very forced. To sum the whole show up, it is extremely forced. It's humor that's like saying, ha ha, we're funny, there's Vince McMahon riding on a giraffe, but to me, it's not. It's like, yeah, alright, but yeah, it's probably not for me. I will do a review of episode 2 if you guys want to. But all in all, I give the show, I would say, maybe a 5 out of 10. Very average. Like I said, the only saving grace was Ric Flair in this. Ric Flair was fucking funny as hell in this show. I would watch the show just to see the parts of Ric Flair if you have the WWE Network. But this isn't a show to buy the WWE Network for. This isn't like, like for example, if you want to get Netflix to see Daredevil, or you want to get Netflix to see an original show like Breaking Bad or whatever. It ain't that show that you see this show and say, I need to subscribe to the network for this show. That ain't that type of show. I want to say this though, is that just because this show was very average doesn't mean the shows after it is going to be terrible. Edge and Christian show, their first episode wasn't all that great. However, the shows after it were actually hilarious. I actually do like the Edge and Christian show. After the first episode, it is really good. Camp WWE, however, I don't know where they're gonna go about it. I don't know what they're gonna do. Shit like that. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I'm not gonna judge the series just because on this episode. But the one thing that I have a problem with this episode is that the humor is very forced. It's in your face, it's like you have to laugh at this. Isn't this what you want? It's kind of like that. It's not a fantastic show, but you know, if you have the network, definitely check it out and see what happens. Just for the Ric Flair part. The Ric Flair is hilarious in this fucking episode, if I've said this about 100 times. But yeah, guys, it's okay. It's okay if you're bored or whatever, and you've got time to kill. Then check it out if you have the network. But don't buy the network just for Camp WWE, you know, obviously there's way more content out there. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the episode. This is General Jerry on the General Jerry channel. Also take that time to subscribe, and also we're going to be covering, I believe the Northern Ireland elections on, I think it's tomorrow actually, so I might be covering the elections. I'm also covering the EU referendum elections, which is happening in June. And I'm also covering the United States elections, which is in November. So we're going to be doing full coverage of that, shit like that. A lot of Americans want to be involved in this European referendum. Northern Ireland one, probably not so much, but I'll probably just do a hangout for the sake of doing a hangout. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the show right now. This is General Jerry on the General Jerry channel. Also, check me out on Facebook. Check me out on Facebook. I have a new Facebook. Links in the description below. This is General Jerry signing out.